Hello, welcome to my Category C video where I will be discussing an interest that I have that involves math. So during COVID, to pass the time, I have gotten into shelf making. So I spend a lot of the time in the garage with my saw making shelves. So you may ask, what does math have to do with making shelves? So it may seem like all you need is the proper tools and wood. However, you actually need quite a bit of knowledge of shapes and degrees to make even shelves with perfect joints. When cutting each piece of wood, I must think about the shape I am trying to build, how many sides that shape has, and how many degrees make up that whole shape. From there, I'm able to use division to find out what degree each corner of the shelf should have. Each shape requires different angles for each piece. Degrees cannot just be guessed, and they should be all the same when making an equal-sided shelf, like the one beside here, the honeycomb shelves. There are two ways I figure out how many total degrees are in each shape. First is with the knowledge of triangles. So something I know just from my elementary education is in a triangle there's 180 degrees. So if we want to know how many degrees are in a shape, we can break it down into triangles. So if we look at the square, we can break it down into two triangles. So we know a triangle has 180 degrees and we can multiply it by 2, equaling 360 degrees. So a square would have 360 total degrees. If we look at a pentagon, we can break it down into 3 triangles, which is 180 degrees times 3 equals 540. Or there is another technique that I find much easier, which is using a reference chart. So when deciding which shapes to use, I count how many sides each shape has and divide it by total amount of degrees to find out what each corner's degree must be. For an example, if we do a hexagon, we can refer to the chart and know that the total degrees is 720 and it has 6 sides. So we would divide 720 by 6 to find out that each corner should have 120 degrees. So to break down degrees when making a hexagonal shelf, in order to cut pieces that create 120 degrees on each side, I must adjust my mitering feature to 30 degrees in order to make 60-degree angles. In a regular setting, I would just be cutting at 90 degrees, and that would just make a straight plank. So when adjusting it to 30 degrees, it leaves me with a 60-degree slant. So when I put together the two 60-degree pieces, 60 plus 60 adds up to 120, and I have it right here. So this 30 degree, we have a 60 degree piece and a 60 degree piece, and when we add it together, we can get 120. So if we make the shape together with 6 pieces, each piece, all the pieces added up together would make 720 degrees. So the moral of the story, I would have some very ugly shelves without the knowledge of degrees and the practical application of math.